Hello and good evening. My name is Cadet Josiah Anderson, and I am Detachment 040's Recruiting and Public Affairs Officer. Today, I'll be the MC for our first ever digital recruiting event. Thank you all for joining us. At the end of this presentation, we will have a question and answer section. So during this during this recruiting presentation, if you have any questions of any sort, feel free to comment them, and then at the very end, we're going to go through and answer those questions. If you're watching this as a recording, just send us a message to our Facebook page or Instagram page. Now, let's get started on what it means to be an Air Force and Space Force cadet. So what is Air Force ROTC? The Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps is a military leadership program designed to give men and women the opportunity to become Air or Space Force officers while completing a degree. There are three main components to the training aspect of Air Force ROTC. The first is your Aerospace Studies class. These classes are designed to teach you the fundamentals of what it means to be an Air Force officer. We learn everything from Air Force history to leadership management to team building strategies. The next aspect of Air Force ROTC is Leadership Laboratory, or Lead Lab. This is a dynamic training environment where cadets learn everything from how to march, to small unit tactics, to leadership exercises, and problem solving. Cadets are placed in flights that act as their team for that semester. Physical fitness is a priority for the Air Force, and every week we have 2 group workouts. These workout sessions tend to be fun, competitive, and build a sense of camaraderie within the detachment. Outside of these workouts, cadets are also required to work out at least one more time on their own, but we encourage exercising every day of the week. Typically, between your sophomore and junior years, all cadets are required to go to a 2-week field training camp at Maxwell Air Force Base, where they're evaluated on everything they've learned their first 2 years in Air Force ROTC. Now, one note to keep in mind when it comes to Air Force ROTC is that you can try it out with no commitment. And you can even compete for scholarships without incurring a commitment. You only start your commitment to the active duty Air Force once you graduate, if you accept scholarship money or you return from field training and contract as a POC or upperclassman cadet. Now, Cadet Jones is going to tell you guys about some of the fun opportunities that come with being an Air Force/Space Force cadet.
All right, hello everyone. I am Cadet Alex Jones. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I joined Air Force ROTC back in fall 2018, just because serving and service were always very important things to me. But I turned down the United States Air Force Academy because I wanted more of a normal college experience that was enhanced by Air Force ROTC. So today I'm going to be talking to you all about professional development trainings, or PDTs. We have some excellent pictures that are some good examples for what those are. We can see in this first one, there's a great picture of me learning about the tools of explosive ordnance disposal. Second picture, we've got somebody attending a free fall school at the United States Air Force Academy. That third picture is some of our very own Detachment 40 members visiting Luke Air Force Base. And these are all just examples of PDTs from amongst a ton of opportunities. So basically, these PDTs are the coolest field trips you will ever get to go on in your college career. I'm sure we're all familiar with, the classic, field trip of going to an art museum or like a water reclamation plant, things like that. But these are something that really have a little bit of something for everyone based on what you're interested in doing, whether it's in doing your job for the Air Force or just for life in general. There's Ops Air Force, which is a 2-week immersion program where you get to learn what life on an Air Force base is really like. Project Global Officer, where you get to study abroad and learn about the foreign language of your choice. There's opportunities to go intern at Livermore Laboratories or visit the Air Force Institution of Technology to learn about technology, cyberspace, and do all kinds of research. For people who might be interested in a more special forces route, there's opportunities to train at Army Air Assault School, as well as join special tactics officers in their orientation. There's scholarships to earn your private pilot's license and incentive flights for anyone who might be interested in a career in aviation. There really truly is a bit of something for everyone in these very unique opportunities that you'll only get in this program. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Soon, who will be speaking about some scholarship opportunities.
Hi everyone, my name is Lieutenant Soon, and I'm a regionally based AFROTC admissions advisor for AFROTC HQ, and I'll be your assigned advisor if you are applying for a high school scholarship this year or are looking to join AFROTC at any of our 1,200 locations across the U.S. I myself also recently graduated with my bachelor's and master's in chemical engineering from Boston University, where I also commissioned. And while I initially joined AFROTC as a way to finance college, it's definitely not the reason I stay today. If that's the reason you're here right now, that's perfectly fine, but you'll soon realize all the amazing opportunities AFROTC has to offer. I found my lifelong friends in this amazing community, and I've been so fortunate to have been guided throughout my entire cadet career and my Air Force career so far by amazing mentors who are super eager to help. What I once saw as a service obligation, I now see as an open door full of endless educational and professional opportunities that I'm so excited to see where my career will take me next. But none of this would have been possible without my AFROTC scholarship. And there are 3 levels of scholarships, type 1, 2, and 7. 1 is a full tuition offer at any public or private university. 2 is $18,000 a year at any public or private university. And 7 is full in-state tuition at any public university. All these scholarships come with $900 a year for textbooks and a monthly spending allowance beginning at $300 a month, and it increases every year until you hit the $500 a month cap. What's nice about these allowances is they go straight into your bank account. So whatever you don't spend, you're allowed to allocate towards any living expenses as you so wish. And AFROTC offers these scholarships for both high schoolers and in-college students. For high school seniors, you're eligible to apply this year if you have a GPA above a 3.0 unweighted from grades 9 through 11. And if you have a composite SAT or ACT score of 1240 or 26, and if you will be a U.S. citizen by fall of 2021. If you are entering college or already in college, you may be eligible to be nominated for a scholarship. And if you're interested in either of these scholarship opportunities, please reach out to me. My contact is below. The application process for high schoolers is very simple. There's no essay, and it can be done rather quickly. So rising high school seniors, mark your calendars for June 1st of 2020. That's when our application window opens. If the sooner you apply, the higher chances are, and the sooner you'll be able to make college decisions. And you may even be able to complete everything before you even begin your college applications. Our application window closes January 2021. So if you have any other questions, please reach out to me, and you have my contact. Thank you.
Great. Next, we will have Cadet Pulvis speaking about career opportunities after college.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jamison Belvis, and I'm Detachment 40's Mission Support Group Commander. I'm originally from East Tennessee and had the pleasure of moving to California from Florida in 2018 with my wife. I joined Air Force ROTC after 7 years in the Army and wanted to further my military career after receiving my college degree. After being thrown into the program as a 250 and having to quickly adapt to how the Air Force operates, I rediscovered my love for the military lifestyle. One of my favorite things about the military, especially the Air Force, are the wide array of jobs or Air Force specialty codes. With over 200 different jobs to choose from, there is a perfect position for just about everyone. I'm going to focus on just a few of the most popular for my portion, but a quick search on airforce.com can provide you with all the information you could ask for. Let's start with the Air Force's claim to fame, aviation. With over 35 major airframe types, from fighters and fuelers to heavy cargo, reconnaissance, rescue helicopters, and fighters, your nation's Air Force owns the greatest air fleet known to man. Innovations in wartime technology have introduced in-flight refueling planes like the KC-135, flown by our very own Detachment Commander Lieutenant Colonel Hill, and advanced spy planes like the U-2, where the pilots are recognized as astronauts. With the Air Force always looking for new pilots, anyone's dream of flying can come to fruition in our Air Force. What are remotely piloted aircraft pilots? The United States' cutting-edge technology has allowed for us to maintain air superiority from the safety of a stateside installation. By becoming an RPA pilot, you can join the Air Force's newest generation of aviators by becoming an expert in UAV flight by flying the MQ-9 Reaper or the RQ-4 Global Hawk. If piloting may not be your thing, but you still want to experience a career as an Air Force aviation officer, maybe a career as a combat systems officer, riding in the back seat in a plane operating the nav and combat systems, or as an air battle manager overseeing and managing flight missions may be for you. The Air Force is so much more than just pilots, though. The majority of officers in the Air Force hold positions on more operational roles and truly make up the force that is the Air Force. Overseeing hundreds of millions of dollars in transactional contracts for the United States government as a finance officer, or helping the Air Force shape and maintain its public image as a public affairs officer, or even becoming an entertainment liaison and working as a military advisor for films just like Captain Marvel. Career fields like security forces, force support, and intelligence ensure that our Air Force can successfully fly, fight, and win with personnel just like you. Our new department, the Space Force, is staffed with cadets from Air Force ROTC. So if being first is something that you enjoy, imagine being the first person you know joining the nation's newest branch of the military. I know there are some among you who dream of becoming doctors or lawyers and maybe didn't know that the Air Force has its own legal and medical forces that can provide intensive training, free graduate programs, and enormous post-Air Force career opportunities. The military prides itself on having a full internal medical department that spans from orthodontists all the way to top surgeons. The Air Force Judge Advocate General Corps is looking for lawyers to provide once-in-a-lifetime legal careers. The United States Air Force also has several special sectors consisting of highly trained individuals that are selected from the best of the best from each commissioning year. One of our speakers today, Cadet Barbarides, is a combat rescue officer hopeful. Combat rescue and other special tactics officers are the Air Force's answer to our nation's need of special force operators and are active all over the world participating in operations and combat missions with other branches special operators like Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. The Air Force Office of Special Investigation oversees all of Air Force's federal policing. I myself am in the application process to hopefully become a special agent in this elite organization. So, after going over a few of the Air Force's exciting career fields, I hope that something I spoke about has piqued your interest. I would like to hand over the floor to our next speaker, Cadet Christian Arteaga. Thank you.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Good evening. This is my favorite slide. It's all about me and also how Air Force really is for everybody. I'm Cadet Arteaga. All my friends, they call me Christian. I'm in my senior year at Cal State Long Beach. I'm majoring in biochemistry. I'd like to start off by saying that when I joined, I had no military background. The last member of my family that served was my great-grandfather, and I only see him in photos. I joined because I heard of the cool career opportunities and benefits that the Air Force had to offer. And looking at these photos from right to left, you can really see my transformation from skating, guitar playing, ponytail having kid raised on Catalina Island, to wearing uniforms and having, well, no hair at all. And I still do all these things. The only thing that I really had to lose was my locks. But don't worry, you don't have to shave your head completely like I did. I was just really curious how I would look. This program to me personally is just trying new things. It still comes as a surprise whenever I tell my friends and family that I joined ROTC. None of them could ever really see me marching in a uniform, let alone standing at attention. In fact, when I attended the new student orientation for ROTC, most of the students that were also attending, they would take one look at my ponytail and they would say, you know what, this kid probably wouldn't last 2 weeks in this program. But here I am, 2 years later, I'm still in love with the program. I'm excited for my new career and I'm happy with all my new friends. And I'm sure you would too. AFROTC has a little something for everybody, whether you're a gung-ho, hoo-ah warrior, crazy about the military, or you're just a kumbaya singing kid like myself. But with that, I'll hand it back to our host. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you, Cadet Arteaga. Next, we'll have Cadet Esmus speaking on academics.
Hi, my name is Cadet Shannon Esmus. I am from Diamond Bar, California, and I attend American University of Health Sciences, and I am a nursing major. So I joined AFROTC to go into the Air Force after school. I wanted to establish an independent lifestyle, and I want to live a life of serving others. So the reason I stayed was because of the people and the experiences. You don't get a bond like you do in this program anywhere else, or the experiences. So now I'll be talking about academics. So first and foremost, academics comes first. So crosstown programs, your school doesn't have to have an ROTC program as long as they have what's called a crosstown agreement, where students from different colleges all have the opportunity to train at one detachment. Ours is DEP 040 located at LMU. So independent study, 1 classes, and ROTC don't always align, cadets are allowed to be on independent study for 1 semester, meaning you will fulfill the objectives on your own with supervision from the upper class or cadre. So student first. So like the title of this presentation says, you are a student warrior. And the first part of that is student. School comes first. It is one of the requirements to be in the program, and it is essential to becoming a leader. Small class sizes. We have aerospace studies, which includes history, heritage, and leadership management. The classes are small and intimate, which allows for a lot of personal growth and developing relationships, like I mentioned earlier. So while academics are a priority, it's not the only thing, which is why Cadet Hamada is here to talk about how you can have a social life too.
Hi everyone, my name is Cadet Lily Hamada and I'm from Irvine, California. I'm going to be Detachment 40's Bravo Flight Commander. And I joined Air Force ROTC because of my passion for service and leading a life to serve others. Now the reason why I stayed is because of the people that I've met and the friendships that I've made within the program. I'm actually a transfer student and I spent my first 2 years of college at the University of San Francisco, where I wasn't involved with Air Force ROTC or even too many clubs on campus for that. However, I am here to emphasize that even with AFROTC, you can still have a social life. Since transferring and being at LMU, I've gotten involved with a ton of extracurriculars on campus, which include being in a sorority. I held a position on executive board for a cultural club. I was even able to volunteer and complete service hours outside of Air Force ROTC, and I had an on-campus job. I also played a lot of intramural sports, one of which was basketball. And just a fun fact, I was supposed to play basketball at Chapman or UCLA, but turned those opportunities down. But one super cool thing about AFROTC is that it does not limit you to what you can involve yourself in. For example, you can play intramurals, but if you want to take it to the next level, you can play club sports. And if you want to take it even one step further, you can even compete in the Division I level or for your school or university while still being a cadet in the program. Our weekly physical training can actually be comped for official athletic training. Throughout the school year, I also volunteer at a physical therapy clinic, and I'm also in a unique position to work with some really cool athletes and teams as a sports vision assistant. For example, we have Albert Pujols from the Los Angeles Angels and Tobin Heath from the U.S. women's soccer team as seen in the pictures. Air Force ROTC, along with anything that you choose to involve yourself in, is really what you make of it. You have a ton of friends being in the program due to its nature and the camaraderie of it, and it's easy to maintain friends both inside and outside of ROTC. One thing to note is that we do have a small Air Force, and the friends that you make within the detachment are easily some of the best sets of friends that you'll have for life. And there are always the chance of running into them during your time of service. Like Cadet Esme said earlier, ROTC also emphasizes that we are students before we are cadets. School will always come first, and what's neat about the program is that the credits earned from AFROTC count towards your degree. So if you're worried about being a full-time student or interested in having a little GPA bump, you can still count on ROTC to help you with some of those credits. Next, I would like to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Hill, who will be speaking on the requirements to join Air Force ROTC.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Hill, and I am the commander of Detachment 40. This is my third time at Air Force ROTC. I'm a 1996 graduate from Air Force ROTC. Then I came back during my active duty career as a professor and then now back as the commander. So it is a great program to be part of with many, many opportunities. First and foremost, we're trying to get you to a commission in the United States Air and Space Force as an officer. And to do that, we need you to be a college student. So the folks who come into our program are coming from high school into their first year of college, or they're in their undergraduate program already and have 3 years left of school, or 4 years, or you could be a graduate student with still 3 years left to come into our program. The idea is to be a college student. We talked about scholarships earlier. Those are opportunities within our program, but they are not a requirement to join. To join, you just need to be a U.S. citizen or seeking your citizenship, and we can help you with that endeavor. We do ask that you be physically fit because you would be potentially joining the Air Force or the Space Force. So we give a fitness test each semester, and we help you work towards that. We ask that you be of good moral character. This doesn't mean that you have to have a perfect history. It means that you're making that promise to work hard on your character and develop and grow in those areas. And then really to just get started in our program is to come and join our program by signing up for our leadership laboratory and our Air Force science class, which we offer those each semester. So you'd be in those each semester of the program. So the requirements to join are very simple. We said to the themes here were to be a college student, that academics are first, and to just come try us out without any commitment. So back to you, Cadet Anderson.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Hill. Again, this is Cadet Anderson. Just really quickly, if you have any questions on how to contact us or you would like to apply or find out more information, here's all of our information. We have our website, our Instagram. Go give us a follow, subscribe to our YouTube. If you don't have social media, you can email us. And lastly, if you're looking to apply for scholarships, you heard earlier Lieutenant Soon spoke, and this is, again, her contact information in case you missed it that first time around. So now we're going to transition into a Q&A session. So if you have any sort of questions, please comment them in just on the live stream, and then we're going to have 3 cadet testimonials, and then we're going to go through and answer any questions you guys have, as well as some questions that were messaged to our accounts earlier. All right, Cadet Kara.
Thank you, Cadet Anderson. Good evening. My name is Cadet 3rd Class Christopher Guerra, and I'm entering my 2nd year of Air Force ROTC. And that's me right there on the left, on that far left picture, being in the backseat of a T-6 Texan flying 2 years before I joined the program. And that picture on the right is after taking the oath of enlistment upon receiving an in-college program scholarship from Air Force ROTC. And I am from Whittier, California, and I joined the program upon entering my freshman year of college. And I attend Loyola Marymount University, and I'm a political science major. And one of the key reasons I joined the program is that from an early age, I've always been fascinated with the armed forces and wanted to serve our nation, but I've also always loved aviation and wanted to be a pilot. So I saw Air Force ROTC as a perfect avenue to accomplish both of these goals. But Air Force ROTC is such a great program because it develops your character and professionalism in preparation for military service, but also your everyday life. And you're really going to find you're going to be very professional. The program's just overall just great. And you grow so much as a leader, and you're able to step outside of your comfort zone, but at the same time, you're bonding with fellow cadets, and you just make friendships and relationships that are going to last maybe even into the active Air Force when you commission. But through Air Force ROTC, there have been a few factors that kind of influenced me to stay in the program. And I really like the concept of being a part of something bigger than yourself, and also keeping an eye on the end goal, what you like to achieve in the Air Force when you commission. And also receiving an in-program scholarship, that is all, these factors all kind of accumulated into reasons why I stay in the program. Overall, it's a great program. And I'm going to hand it over to Cadet Divyak now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cadet 3rd Class Cassandra Divyak, and come fall, I will be entering my 2nd year of AFROTC at LMU. You can see me in the centermost picture participating in a weekly session as a guidon bearer, something that I've learned to love, as well as drill and ceremonies. I am a political science major at LMU and a Los Angeles native. I decided to pursue AFROTC during my sophomore year of high school when I learned about the JAG program, and that was solidified when I earned a high school scholarship my senior year. The reason that I love Air Force ROTC is because it pushes you to go beyond what you think you're capable of and exemplifies the core value of excellence. It encourages you to be the best you can be, introduces you to diverse people from all walks of life, and prepares you with the leadership skills required to serve in the world's greatest Air Force. I've stuck with the program and will continue to do so because no obstacle can stop me from chasing down that coveted commission. That and all the friends that I've made have kept me motivated, even when the going gets tough. And now I will pass on to Cadet Barbarides.
Thank you. I am Cadet First Class Brendan Barbarides. That first class part means that I'm entering my 4th and last year of Air Force ROTC. I am a military brat. As you can see in that far right picture, that's me and my dad and mom in front of a beautiful airframe there. So where I'm from is kind of complicated. I'm from a lot of different places, including New Jersey and Florida, and most recently New York. I'm also a rising senior health and human sciences major at LMU. I joined through the high school scholarship process, so I too made my decision to join in my senior year of high school. My dad was retired when I was in the 6th grade, so I had about equal parts to see civilian life and military life, and I just decided from looking at both of those that I liked a little bit of more of what the military stood for and the lifestyle around it. So that was what pushed me to join. What pushed me to stay is in large part a lot of the same reasons that Cadet Diviak and Cadet Guerra have talked about. And it's been mentioned before, but it really can't be stated enough that it's the people that kind of keep you in this program. Detachment 40 is the first real community that I had in college, and it continues to be my strongest. These people are not just my coworkers, they're my peers, and they understand the strange way that I approach life. They're mentors that help me with my Air Force and life decisions, and really they become role models to you, and they really have to me, especially in exemplifying our last core value, which is excellence in all we do. Thank you.
Thank you, cadets, for those testimonials. We will now be going into a question and answer time. I see we have some questions coming in. So this might be a good question for Lieutenant Soon, if you're there. Someone asked, if we applied in the fall of 2019, do we have to reapply for fall 2020?
Did they apply for if you applied for the high school scholarship, then that means you're no longer eligible if you are going into college. If you are looking to get a scholarship at this point, you're only eligible through a nomination process, and we can talk about that more offline if you reach out to me.
Thank you. The next question is, since all Cal States may be going into online classes, how will the process go? So I'm assuming they're wondering, how will ROTC look for those who say they're a crosstown student at a Cal State school and their school's transitioning to online? How will it look if, say, they live out of state, but they participate at Loyola Marymount for ROTC?
Cadet Anderson, I'll take that one. So right now that is being looked at on a nationwide stance by Air Force ROTC. We do anticipate that we're going to have host schools, which is, for our example, Loyola Marymount University, where the program is hosted at, where we might have host schools in class, just like normal, traditional. We may have crosstown schools who are online or vice versa. So they are working our curriculum and our program to be able to function, and not only function, but function as well or even better. Anytime you get to change a process or do a new design, you want to address it and it be better. But to be able to function in a hybrid environment, a fully online environment, the program right now is designed for in-person and definitely needs to be revamped for the new environment that we are all approaching. But it is being headed up very aggressively and with a lot of intent and motivation to keep the integrity of the program and deliver a very good program to current and future cadets and officers.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope that clears up any questions regarding the Cal States. So another comment was, I am an 8-year Air Force veteran, I'm assuming enlisted, and I am a senior at my university heading into grad school. Could this still be an opportunity for me? So here
I'll take that.
I'm assuming that they're prior enlisted, and they're in college right now, graduating, heading into grad school.
Right. Now, I'll take that one too. This is Colonel Hill again. We can take graduate students. That is kind of new to Air Force ROTC, or has flipped back and forth over the years. And right now we can. The idea is that you need to still meet other requirements, which would be our age requirements, entry requirements for medical if you are to contract, which means to continue to pursue the program after trying it out. And for grad school, though, we need you to have at least 3 years. And specifically for that, we see a lot of our grad students who don't have 3 years, who may have 2 to 2.5. And the very last semester of your contracted period before we commission you, which is to send you off into the Air Force onto extended active duty, or we have some reserve and guard opportunities, is you can be less than full-time student. So that means you could just take our Air Force class. So you could potentially graduate from graduate school the semester before. Hopefully that answers that question. But we can speak more specifically if you just give us a call or shoot us an email at Det40.
Thank you. Next question. I'm planning to attend UC Irvine and go to UCLA for Air Force ROTC. How does traveling between schools work for Air Force ROTC? So actually, I can answer this. I'm a crosstown student, so I go to Pepperdine University, which is in Malibu, and then I commute to Loyola Marymount, Det 040. So if you are outside a 20-mile radius of the detachment, you are still required to travel to the detachment for your aerospace studies class, as well as leadership laboratory. I'm not positive on how UCLA runs their schedule, but for Loyola Marymount, those are both on the same day of the week. So I only have to go to Loyola Marymount once a week for the aerospace studies class, the leadership laboratory, and the group physical therapies or physical training session. Because I'm outside that 20-mile radius, I'm exempt from the second group physical training session, which is on a different day of the week. One thing to keep in mind is I have my own car, so I drive that time. But I know a lot of students who carpool because they don't have cars, and they know other cadets who go to their school that are also crosstown at that detachment, so they'll carpool or they'll Uber, and so there are various options if you don't have a car.
Great. And let me add one thing, Cadet Anderson, that was perfect from the crosstown perspective. For UCLA and USC, which also has a detachment, both have detachments, and Loyola Marymount, we really encourage you to if you're at a crosstown, to go to the detachment that makes the most sense. If you are at the host school, we need you to go to that host school. There are very few caveats to that. But if you're at a crosstown, look at where you're going to live, your class schedule, and what makes sense for you for the detachment that you choose. And then, like Cadet Anderson said, there's a few variations to some of the things that you might have to do with physical training and who you're close to get involved with those physical training sessions. Thanks.
The last question I see on here from our comment section is, how long can I be active in this program until I must become a student at LMU? Cadet Barbrides, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So I just happen to be a student at LMU. You don't necessarily have to attend the host school. So you can be a crosstown, like Cadet Anderson is going to be a crosstown student for his whole time in the AFROTC program. The only caveat, which I believe that the Lieutenant Colonel Hill or Lieutenant Soon could talk about, is eventually you can start as a community college student, and that's okay. The only time where you would have to transfer schools is you'd have to transfer to an accredited university. But you don't ever have to attend the host school. But there are options where if that makes more sense for you, then you could look into that option.
That was great. Let me pick up on one thing you said, Cadet Barbrides, for everybody is to become an Air Force officer, you have to obtain a bachelor's degree. So you can be working on an associate degree, and he mentioned that you could be at a community college. So you can be at a community college, and it's usually between your sophomore and junior year that you would naturally transition over to a 4-year bachelor degree granting university. Thanks.
All right, just a couple questions that were messaged to us. Can I study abroad while in Air Force ROTC? I'll answer this one because the fall semester, fall 2019, I actually went abroad during my second year of Air Force ROTC. So I traveled to London and spent the semester there with Pepperdine. They have a school there. So basically how that looked for Air Force ROTC is I was allowed what they call a period of non-attendance for one semester, meaning I did not participate in the training aspect, the leadership laboratory aspect of ROTC for that semester. I did, however, do independent study, as Cadet Esmus mentioned earlier, for my aerospace studies classes. So I still had to meet the objectives, read the lessons, and submit things to the aerospace studies professor. But at the same time, it gave me the opportunity to travel the world, go all over Europe, and I would recommend it. So it's very, very possible, even though you're in Air Force ROTC. One more question. Are there extracurriculars involved with Air Force ROTC?
I could take this question. So there are several extracurricular opportunities. So one thing that Cadet Hamada said earlier is it is what you make of it. You could come in, do the minimum, and just kind of head out after training's done, and that's completely okay. For some people, that's what works best for them. But if you really love the program, like a lot of people do, and you really want more of it, there's a lot of opportunities. This past semester, I was heavily involved with the Honor Guard program, and with that, we get to do a lot of cool events. We've had the opportunity to present the colors, so do the presentation of the flag during the national anthem at a Ducks game, which is really cool, a cool hockey game. And then a lot of the different universities events will also have us do that. So that's one opportunity. If you are just a PT monster and you're really excited about swimming and doing other stuff, there's a club for that too. So we meet and we do extra workouts just kind of on top of it, and it counts for that extra requirement that Cadet Anderson was talking about. If you have something that you are really interested in and the detachment doesn't have some kind of affiliation, this is a really fertile ground for if you want to start something new and test your waters in building a program from the bottom up. So really, it's endless what you want to do within the detachment too.
Thank you.
I think we had some extracurricular flying opportunities this last year. I think a couple of people are online who got a lot of flight hours and worked towards their private ratings. And we have Civil Air Patrol out there. So lots of opportunities to get involved and do extracurriculars.
Yes, ma'am. So those are all the questions we have currently in the chat. If you're watching this as a recording, we're going to end here soon. Feel free to message us or send us an email or contact us if you have any more questions or you want to learn about how you can apply, how you can be a part of it, what cadet life is like. Just reach out to us in any way you can. But if there's no more questions, that brings us to the end. So thank you all for coming today. Stay safe, and thanks for joining us.